Hi, my name is Nikki. I am a channel for the Council of One. And if you don't know who the Council of One is, the Council of One is like this overseeing council that is responsible for all the other councils. And they receive source information before it gets distributed to the other councils. And once the other councils receive this, then they distribute that to the channelers who work with those councils. And then us as channels distribute that information to the collective. Now, there's so much more coming down because Earth is always upgrading. So we are receiving new frequencies all the time. And I'm starting to realize certain channels who are more connected to either their council or to that their role is to receive these transmissions. They will receive them and then they will share that with the collective. And that was kind of what the Council of One was telling me is that being a channel and integrating with the Council of One, I am actually like part of the Council of One. I'm still navigating what exactly that means for me, but what I have been told by my guides is that I have this new frequency that I'm meant to transmit to you guys. And from my knowledge, there's only 3 or 4 people globally right now who are activated in this. And so I don't necessarily have to do anything per se, like how you think normally, how we like sit and I transmit energy. I don't necessarily have to do that. Like my activations work with you just being in my presence. And so many higher, I don't know how to word this without seeing egotistical, but like those of us who have worked on our energy to a specific frequency can just naturally transmit, just like how everyone has auras. We don't have to do anything to transmit our aura, it just transmits from our energy body. And people being in our presence will feel that energy. So, them integrating with me, I naturally now emit this higher frequency, and I don't have to sit in a session to be able to emit that. I hope that makes sense. On top of that, me and my co-channel, we actually got activated together. And what my guides were showing me is that we will be channeling for the collective. We are still deciding how that's going to look like. I am setting up a podcast, and hopefully we can do that through the podcast. But I'm learning right now some themes that I thought I learned in the past, but it is now being refined even deeper. And it is about how to be in relationship and how to be in collaboration with other people. Because us as a society, as humanity is moving towards unity, we cannot just be alone in this. We have to learn how to work with other people. And a part of that is letting go of some of the independence that I've had and being okay with maybe being more compassionate and patient with the other person's journey. And I just trust in divine timing that we will meet and be able to work together. That said, I asked the guides what wants to be transmitted through this video today. And the vision that they were showing me is like the peak. They're showing me people who are ready to truly step into their final role, their destined role for humanity. And I had asked, like, am I there? And of course, they show me an image that, yes, I am there. I am there, meaning I am stepping into the role that I was destined to at a soul level to step into. Now, this role isn't just channeling the Council of One, which is an extremely high frequency, but it is also art and um, putting activations into art and doing that. And how did that even come to be, right? So, what I feel called to do is share my personal journey because what the guides are saying is that we are all walking the same journey. However, we experience different flavors of it, meaning that you might hear similar themes throughout my experience, but you might have a different twist to it. But the lesson in itself is very similar. And therefore, storytelling is a powerful way to activate and heal other people. So, from my own journey, I will share where I am today. Last week, I got integrated with the Council of One. And then in January, I was told that I would be using activations in art. And I kind of laughed because, in December, I was making a vision board and being an artist was not on my vision board. But mind you, like we can change our vision boards, and I added a gallery to my vision board. So hopefully 2025, I will be um, having my art featured in a gallery. But everything in our experience is purposeful, is meaningful. I think back to my childhood. I think back to like high school. And I told my mom I wanted to go to art school because at the time I was passionate about art. When I was little, I drew, I copied anime, I drew and I painted, and my entire room was a gallery. I would hang up all of my art pieces on the wall, and down the hallway would be filled with canvases that like me and my sisters would create. And I told my mom I wanted to go to art school, and she said, no, like art doesn't make you any money. And because she said that to me, I chose to go to business school. And um, I went through business school, I got a corporate job. And then after the corporate job, I decided to start my own business because deep down, I think we are always intuitively led. And 2 years into corporate, my intuition was like, you don't belong here. And they were showing me visions and they were showing me feelings of it was like this expansive feeling. And I just saw myself like working with other people who are also very expansive and who are here to like do really big things. And I always connected with that feeling. And so with the limited awareness that I had at the time, I just followed my intuition into certain experiences, which started with me starting my own business. And then when COVID hit in 2020, I was looking for community and I found community. And through my community, um, I was introduced to like programs, and then that program led to another person. And it was all like written out so perfectly by the universe, right? But everything had a lesson to it. And I noticed I was moving through these experiences extremely fast. And the part of me that grew up in a very controlling environment, feeling like I had no control because my mom was very domineering and it was like her way or the highway. And so I had to learn how to assert myself. Those were like one of the first lessons I ever had to learn was like how to align with real love in my relationships, how to choose a love that was reciprocal to me. Because I always ended up, not always, but like I would find myself in relationships that I didn't really feel valued or seen. And then that led to being confident enough to like share my voice or stand my ground in my own business. And so I was met with relationships that, from other people that would demand things of me, um, or they would kind of override the rules that I had. For example, like for my shows, we have people sign a form, an agreement that says, yes, I will promote your event. And I would always be faced with people who didn't do that. And I would feel so much fear. I had to like get the courage to tell them, hey, you signed this form. It's my event. I am an authority. So taking my power back, right? So we're on this journey to reclaiming our power, reclaiming our identity. And of course, then I thought like, oh, I've taken so many business courses. Maybe I'm supposed to teach business. I went to college for business. I took a bunch of business courses, starting my own business. And then I thought, well, all of these gifts are coming through, and I'm starting to see things that I've never seen before. I started connecting to multidimensional beings. I started connecting to angels. I'm like, I know I'm supposed to do something with that. They wouldn't just give me these gifts just to give me these gifts. Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? And so then I took those pieces and I kept going. I kept trying to fit myself into a box of like, I'm trying to put these puzzle pieces together, and it just didn't feel right. And because it didn't feel right, I was too scared to take action because I was scared to face rejection, that if what I was putting out there wasn't correct for me. And the funny thing is, I still put myself out there because I forced myself to do it. And that's where the spiritual growth part happens, because you have to be in an experience in order to understand that experience is not for you, right? You can't just sit back and read a manual and decide, okay, this manual sounds like it's not for me, then I'm not going to do it. Uh, that's not quite how the earth experience works. So, as I'm moving through these experiences, because I am taking action, there are things outside of me that's providing a mirror back, and my body can respond to that and say, that actually doesn't feel right for me. And then I can redirect, I can reassess whether or not that is the right way. And I will tell you, your mind will curate so many stories. It will create so many like reasonings. So one of the things that I notice that I do really well, and it could be seen as a bad thing or a good thing, is that I can spin any story to work for me. And sometimes that means spinning my own, um, I guess, like limiting stories as well, right? Into a way that serves me. And we all do this. Sometimes we just spin this limiting story and we're in it. And it feels safe and it feels comfortable and it works for us. And um, becoming a re, I would say like retelling your story from a different perspective is very healing. So now I look at my challenges as more growth opportunities. And I'm like, you know what? Bring it on. So fast forward, here's where I am and what have I learned and what can you take away from this video? First and foremost, it is allowing yourself to flow through the journey and just know that not every part of the journey is pleasant, because we are deconditioning. And in order to decondition, we have to actually be in the experience, we have to be in the discomfort. Um, it's always about moving through the experience instead of going around it. So there's no way to avoid it. And one of the things that I had a moment today with my kids, and I just lost my temper, and it was not a pretty moment. And I saw this pattern in my relationship, like not for me. Like I see my husband getting impatient with the kids too. And I felt triggered by that because I was like, don't yell at the kids, don't hit the kids. Like you're not supposed to do that. Like it's going to create childhood trauma. And I've done a lot of childhood trauma healing. So I know that like being in that position is not like I don't even know the word, but in childhood, that's where all our trauma starts. So I know for my kids, like that's going to cause some trauma for them. And that is going to be the factor that suppresses their light and suppresses their voice and suppresses their belief and suppresses their um, knowing that they are worthy, right? I am gonna cry because like that has been my journey. Um, to get to this point of realizing like I am worthy. I am, I deserve to be seen and heard. I deserve beautiful relationships. I deserve to have wealth in my life. And so thinking about that for my own kids is really challenging for me. You know, when you go through this healing path, and I thought I healed a lot of childhood trauma stuff, and I did heal in layers, and we're always healing in layers. And I was healing a lot of that primarily when I started, but it's coming back again because guess what? The true path for me was becoming an artist. That was like my childhood dream. And so becoming an artist now is bringing me right back to childhood, to the deeper layers of stuff that I didn't address, uh, and that I haven't addressed yet. And as I'm releasing that, I can then step into more of who I am. So, with that, um, how do all these pieces fit together? So, I'll just say that every single person who is listening, who is here on earth, has a special purpose. They came here to have a specific experience. And um, if you feel like there's something more that, right, like the purpose of this video is that you feel like you're meant to be at the epitome, the reason why you're here, to know why your soul came here, it's to actually heal yourself more and heal yourself to the point where you are most you. And healing can look very different. So, like I mentioned, like there's childhood healing, there's healing trauma in the physical body, there's energy healing. Because with what I've seen, especially what I've been seeing, with these higher frequencies coming in, we are elevating as a humanity. And it looks like our DNA is going through a transmutation. It's like a science experiment where all of our DNA is like mutated into alien DNA. Not to scare you, I think it's fine. We're all like multi-dimensional beings and angels anyways, so it's not that scary. Um, in fact, when we came as a human, we muted our DNA. So the humans are actually the aliens. The multidimensionals are really our true identity. Um, so there's that, right? The activations of our DNA and the activations of our energy field helps us remember who we really are. We are these multidimensional beings. And then we're healing past lives and parallel lives and soul contracts. And really, we're just healing all this dense, it's like this dense fog that is blinding us. Like we can't see through the fog because we just have so much dense energy clinging onto us. And we're like peeling away each layer from the energy field. We're peeling away those layers inside of us, inside of our bodies. And then we're infusing those higher frequencies to elevate us. Um, that's really what I want to share. Like the journey in itself is you can't like override the journey. You really can't. Your soul came here for a specific experience and you have to walk the experience. So what I help, like what I do is I'm able to just hold the space for those activations to happen, whether it is healing, whether it is activating, or whether it is through like sharing my own experience that helps people feel more in alignment with who they are and navigate their personal experience much more easily. And from what I've seen to work the fastest is intuition, following my own intuition into an experience without expectation, because that experience that I felt intuitively led into could show me failure, could show me like the deeper, darker aspects that I didn't want to experience, but it was meant to help me guide me more into the light, right? And then on top of that, um, so intuition is one. Always follow your intuition, right? Um, the second thing is allow yourself compassion and grace, because you'll realize at the end of the journey, which is that you are worthy all along. And I know you hear people saying this all the time, that you're inherently worthy. So I kind of want to shift your perspective, because Earth is really like a university for the soul. And it's a really tough university. It's like you went to Ivy League or something, for the soul. And so on a soul level, you're like these incredible, multidimensional, galactic beings, angelic beings, sun beings, elemental beings. You're all these amazing, magical beings that decided to come to Earth to have a very limiting experience, and to master your way to freedom is the final goal, right? Um, to become truly sovereign and remember who you are is the point of the game. And so you will be faced with challenges. So just give yourself compassion if you're having a hard day. And like me, we have moments where there's more to master, and we might do things that we don't feel truly aligned to. Um, for me, I sat down with my kids and I just had to apologize, and I just like sat there in silence and like hugged my kids. And I really thought about what I did and how I could do that better. So there was that. Not a proud moment, but love and compassion, we're all here. It doesn't matter how high you elevate your frequencies, we're still going to have human moments. And then the third thing is heal and allow yourself to receive the higher frequencies. So, what I noticed really helped me get to where I am today. And I would say my journey started really in 2023 when I became a healer, was when all the spiritual downloads started coming heavy, right? Um, I kept investing in healers. I kept investing in spiritual mentors. And by them lending me their frequency, like our frequencies together is more powerful than our frequency by ourselves. Um, by them channeling through higher frequencies and raising me up, opened up my spiritual gifts. It opened up to the awareness, um, of what I'm here to do. Because what came through for the channel, like for the Council of One, was they told me they've been working on my frequency to get me to a point where they can integrate with me. So last year, when they first came through, they weren't able to integrate with me because my frequency was not high enough. And as I kept raising my frequency, more spiritual gifts came in because I was at a higher frequency. And then more spiritual gifts until finally they were able to kind of step in. And now I can do what I came here to do. And every single step of your way, you can help somebody else. So if you feel like where you are meant to do something where you are, then just do it. Um, in my journey, I would say like in the 5 years I was in business, I created like 11 summits. And even though some of those summits, I was like fighting myself, like I didn't want to do it. And I ended up doing it because that was part of my experience of learning to trust myself. And I chose to trust the pressure instead of trust the intuitive guidance, right? And I forced myself to do it. And perhaps it was meant to be, it was meant to happen. Because the more I did things that was not in alignment with me, the more I began to understand, like, okay, like I choose myself this time, and I'm not going to choose the external pressure or the story that is being told to me. So that's all I really want to leave you with. For so many of you, you are here to just be yourself. Like I said, once you like you have a core frequency and you don't have to like do it as a career, but many of us do feel called to share that because we are creative beings. We are here to create and put things out there. Like that makes me happy to be able to make my art and put that out there. It makes me happy to be able to share my wisdom and my story and put that out there for you. And I'll just wrap that up with this video. If you feel called to work with me one-on-one, I am going to put a link below for spiritual mentorship. Again, it is highly tailored for your needs. I work with your guides, I work with my guides to channel through the exact healing, the exact messages, and also to help you navigate whatever real life experiences you're going through right now. With that said, many blessings. I love all of you. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.